The Hadley Learning Community is a £60 million PFI development in Telford, Shropshire. An extended school with integrated primary and secondary phases. It's a cutting-edge facility designed to be the school of tomorrow, today. For years in the making, the HLC is seen as a blueprint for the Building Schools for the Future scheme, developed in an ambitious partnership between an LEA and a construction consortium led by Interserve. The first part to open was the secondary phase, with the primary phase starting up in buildings to be demolished when the new facilities are ready in January 2007. Bringing together new staff, new students and new technology presented challenges during the first couple of weeks at the HLC.
It's like all your Christmases come together, because obviously you've got every facility you could wish for.
Can we just print a timetable which gets them to lessons now? If we can just get them to where they are today, and we'll reprint the timetables for tonight.
Just tell me I can print the timetable for the next 10 minutes.
No, they can't. There isn't a blemish on the walls, there's not a mark anywhere. You will look after this building. When I'm in front of them, you know, I'm tough talking and, you know, I'm raising the bar.
The HLC is in a district of Telford badly hit by the loss of manufacturing industry. The construction technique was simple but effective. A concrete frame was clad with textured panels, doing away with the need for hundreds of bricklayers. The circular design concept means it's a campus under one roof, rather than having buildings scattered around the site. Teachers and pupils can circulate freely, vital for a cross-phase curriculum. And teachers had a major say in the construction. The principal, Dr. Jill Eatough, was brought in 18 months before it opened to help design the place.
The benching's going to go there, then we're going to have the... It's coming out like that, isn't it?
Altogether, 740 rooms had to be checked and signed off.
Need to relook at that. Check. Check door.
Jill took responsibility for the design of the basic classrooms, which she kept traditional in character.
I've basically gone for a generic basic classroom, which is like this, so that all the classrooms are the same, and then one layout to the labs. But very much it's been something that I've made the majority of decisions on. You know, I made these decisions 12 months ago, and here it is.
Paul Topping, head of secondary, worked for 6 months designing a radical new curriculum for the HLC and the complex 2-week timetable needed to deliver it.
Can we just alter these groups here, because I've got a spare lesson.
I've got a spare lesson if you want.
I'd like to keep that spare just for a moment.
Built up with a vast data set from several feeder schools, Paul had to allocate scores of teaching groups. He had a very clear idea of how a curriculum can be delivered.
There are some misconceptions, I think, about the curriculum, that it is very, very rigid and that you have very little flexibility. In fact, in Key Stage 3, for example, there's quite a deal of flexibility in how you can deliver Key Stage 3. You don't need to deliver it over 3 years if you don't want to. You have a lot of flexibility in how you can timetable it, how you can staff it, the hours of the day, those kinds of things. And there's going to be further flexibility, I think.
Although in old buildings, the new primary phase of the HLC would still have to open at the same time as the secondary phase.
It's going to be a difficult challenge for us, but we can't afford to sit back on our laurels and wait until January. We've got to be up and running as one organisation from September, and I'm determined to do that as well as we possibly can.
In the final 12 months before the grand opening, the leadership team got through a huge amount of work, designing a curriculum, choosing uniform and recruiting staff. The builders too had their work cut out. It was a complex building programme with tight deadlines to ensure the HLC opened on time and on budget. 24 hours before the secondary school opens, it's coffee and croissants for the staff on their final training day. The leadership team called everyone together for a final briefing.
Today is the first day that we've had the whole team together, so we've got 85 staff here, and it's been that sort of scene setting, you know, this is where we're going, these are the expectations I have of you, this is the vision and ethos of the Hadley Learning Community. Okay, good morning everybody, welcome to your new school. Good morning. How are you feeling? Nervous?
Paul Topping will be leading a team of more than 100 teachers and support staff. He explained how the timetable he'd spent so much of the summer refining would be distributed.
You should have received in the summer from me a copy of your timetable as it will appear on CMIS eventually. CMIS, for those people who aren't aware, is the software that Telford can use, which is different from just about everywhere else in the country who use Sims. We're also trying by the end of today to get Year 7 and 8 student timetables printed out so we can hand those out to students tomorrow.
Teachers were pupils for a day, getting training in how to use the new online learning environment.
Every time you see a little blue bit of text, they are the hyperlinks.
Faculty heads briefed their teams for the last time, and staff got to play with the new high-tech equipment they'd be using.
That's it. You've got to be on the outside.
Got to be on the end.
That's it.
All very exciting.
Over here we've got all my new drawers, which are all labelled up lovely. Brand new books for every single class. Computer for the kids to work on in class. But also, I found out the other day that we've got 30 laptops for every faculty. So instead of booking an ICT room, our class can have the laptops. I think I'm going to keep my classroom in this layout, although Paul says we're free to change anything we want to. Then over here we've got my workstation, my own computer, my own phone, which I'm pretty excited about as well.
It's been great today. The most important thing for me today is that there's been a really positive staff climate. I mean, you're never quite sure until the staff are in the building and getting their preparation complete as to exactly what the mood's going to be. But it's been really upbeat, and, you know, everybody has been up for it tomorrow and ready, and actually people seem really relaxed, which is terrific, really, at the end of such a long planning phase.
September the 5th, 2006, the secondary phase of the HLC is open for business. 8 o'clock, and Jill Eatough, the principal, arrives. And the early birds are here.
That's the internal external masters.
That's what we discussed earlier, Jill.
Dave, can you pick up the key from Richard for the gate to unlock the pupil gate when you go out?
Assistant Vice Principal Dave Bowyer has the honour of opening up. Paul Topping's ready to face his first day as head of secondary.
Who wants to be first through to the new school? Morning.
Teachers check in and the facilities management team are ready to go. Today it's just Years 7 and 8 that are in school.
Oh, they're prompt. They're prompt.
You won't be allowed in the building unless your tie's looking like mine. Do you want me to do it for you? No. Well, do it yourself quickly then, please.
New school, new rules. Start as you mean to go on. That all-important first assembly.
Good morning, everybody. You're a very special year group for us because it will be what you achieve over the next 5 years. That will be a measure of the success of the Hadley Learning Community.
Jill is very clear about the behaviour she expects from the new pupils. She doesn't pull her punches.
So I'm going to talk about respect. And respect for the building is very much at the top of my list. There isn't a blemish on the walls. There's not a mark anywhere. Chewing gum is completely banned, and that's how I want it to stay. And I do mean that. You will look after this building.
Laying down the law is essential on the first day of term.
Students need to know where they stand. They need to know, you're firm, you're decisive, that you have right expectations of them, and you have to come across as don't mess with me, guys. And they then know, and you only get, you've got to set this in. Being too nice to them, that's not my job really. I've got lots of staff and lots of people looking after them, but they need to know when I'm in front of them, I'm tough talking and, I'm raising the bar.
Break time and pupils use the forum for the first time. Just 200 metres away in the old Hadley Juniors playground, celebration time as the primary phase is open too. Like Jill Eatough, Erica Aston's making sure children are clear about what she expects of them and what the new systems for managing behaviour are.
We're actually at an advantage in a lot of ways being here first because we can get those systems in place. It's expectations is a lot of it. How do you come into assembly? How do you address people that are leading the assembly? How do you dismiss from assembly? We need to get those things right, and then when we move into the new building in January, it'll be fabulous because they will know exactly how we expect them to walk into assembly, walk off the playground, walk out. So they're not coping with a new management team, new staff, new structures, and a new building.
While children settle down in the primary school, in the new secondary building, the admin team are making final preparations for lessons to get underway.
We're just trying to get the teaching groups accurate to make sure all the children know where to go, print off the timetables and pass them to them.
That's it now, pull it up.
Pupils are getting to know their tutors and making sure their uniforms look their best. But lessons can't start until they get their individual timetables.
George, that's right, yeah.
There's a problem. IT gremlins kick in. When data from the schools which closed down to make way for the HLC was transferred to the new system, data files got corrupted, and CMIS, the software that runs the timetable, cannot produce accurate printouts for the students.
All the work that was done has been lost. So we're having to re-enter, and every single child has to have, for them, their timetable put in so that we can print off the timetable. Now, hopefully we'll get it sorted this afternoon. We've got somebody coming down, but, you know, we're just struggling.
Paul Topping realises it could be a critical problem. By now, lessons should be underway, but pupils have to stay put in their tutor groups.
So we just can't get the thing to print. Can't you just go to print?
It doesn't, no, because there's big gaps everywhere. So I can't.
How do you mean big gaps?
But the data's all incorrect in the database. I mean, I'm just frazzled.
Can we get a message around to say, go to tutor rooms then, first, straight after lunch? Give timetables out, go to period 4.
Provided we can get timetables out, yeah.
Well, we've got to. You know, we have to do it. It's no choice.
Right.
And if we can't do it, we have to go around and say, right, you kids go to English. We'll sort you out from there, or we'll put them in the engineering gallery, or whatever. Hi, Gareth.
The LEA sends specialists to help sort out the problem with the CMIS software. But they have to give Paul some very bad news.
Just tell me I can print the timetables for the next 10 minutes.
No.
Tutors have had to keep pupils occupied for more than 2 hours now. Time for some word games.
Right, Elliot. L. L for leopard.
I was saying to Paul, even if we haven't got the timetables printed out for the next lesson, we can just have to tell the kids where to go.
And we've got to do something.
Yes, the tutors can't keep them. You haven't got a master copy of your timetable.
Paul's got a copy, but it's starting to look a bit dog-eared.
The issue isn't with the timetable, it's with the kids in the teaching groups.
For Jill Eatough, the students have been out of lessons for long enough.
Can we just print a timetable which gets them to lessons now? And if we can just get them to where they are today, and we'll reprint the timetables for tonight. Yeah, right. OK, we'll print them.
Incomplete timetables will have to go out. Tutors will have to fill in the gaps.
Just say we move in 10 minutes.
Dave Bowyer gives out teaching group lists to curriculum leaders. Get things moving.
I'll bring down 7X to here.
Okay, right, room 1. Go and line up that side there for me.
I'm still group right down to the bottom.
Do you know where you're going? Good.
What's amazing is there's been virtually no glitch in the building. You think with all these children in, there would be something major that might not work. And the buildings work perfectly and beautifully. The children have been fantastic. And the one bit that's let us down is a bit that we probably had the least control over. So there's a story there, isn't there?
La classe, s'il vous plaît, asseyez-vous.
But it will never happen again.
Finally, crisis over, lessons start.
Bon, la classe, pour commencer, s'il vous plaît, levez-vous.
The end of a rather fraught first day.
Well done, everybody.
Jill took heart from the way that she, her leadership team and her pupils had coped with the teething troubles of a brand new school. Day 2 and Dave Bowyer's in early on traffic duty. Years 9 to 11 start today, which means a full complement for the secondary phase. Like the younger pupils, they need to keep their ties straight. It's once more round the loop with welcome assemblies, and students are taken to their new classrooms by their tutors. Electronic registration is up and running for years 7 and 8. Today there's an air of calm at the HLC. The CMIS team are still in school, helping admin staff replace the corrupt teaching group data.
You're talking about quite a lot of teaching groups in a secondary school. So it's required all hands on deck, basically, to get that done. Under normal circumstances in a secondary school, it would be done in the summer holidays. They'd have lists of children and lists of teaching groups and work from that. In this case, they weren't here over the summer because the school was being built and they didn't have any access to the database. So I think this is probably why a lot of it wasn't done.
With timetables still not ready, to keep things on track, the leadership decide to revert to a meeting room system for tutors to sort out today's teaching groups.
They'll go through this timetable, send them to the first meeting room, head to the department will collect them, and off we go. It's just going back in time just a tad, but it worked.
Jim Smith, head of the Faculty of Applied Studies, takes the class lists round.
Where do I pick them up from?
They'll be down in Bob's.
Right, so they'll all turn up at Bob's and then we just go and collect who we need?
Yeah.
Things are settling down.
It's really good. It's quite big though, I keep getting lost. It's really good. You can stick your stuff in instead of like carrying it around on your back.
They've got a bag rack in each classroom. There's less mess on the floor.
We're going to end up with this.
It feels great to be one of the first 1,000 people to go in it.
The HLC is an engineering college, and Jeff Williams' role as Director of Engineering is a critical part of the bid to get better results.
It's like all your Christmases come together. Because obviously you've got every facility you could wish for. You know, there isn't anything here that we're not going to use. You know, everything that's here is going to get used tenfold.
CAD/CAM design software has been purchased and tens of thousands of pounds have been spent on state-of-the-art hardware.
What you can see at the moment are designs that have been done on Pro Desktop. Very simple, Lego bricks, a gear wheel and a model for a mini disc player. Once we actually set it going, the machine will actually then do various passes and build up layers of powder to produce a 3D image. So it's actually 3D printing.
The aim is to give students a real taste of what they'll be doing in the world of work.
And one of the briefs was to equip Hadley students to go into industry. A lot of the industry in Telford is high-tech, hence why we're pushing the high-tech side of it. So, you know, especially things like laser cutting these days is virtually in every industry.
So you're preparing them for industry?
Yeah, that's what we hope. Yeah, that's the end product. I mean, obviously, we're looking more with obviously the year 7s and 8s because we'll be able to spend more time with them to prepare them. Obviously, year 10 and 11 won't have as much input, but we'll sort of try and cram in as much as we can over the next couple of years for them. Yeah.
The HLC is a PFI school and the constructors Interserve also run the facilities management. A team of caretakers are under their control. Problems are routed to the FM team who log the fault and act under contractually binding response times. Serious issues have to be dealt with in 20 minutes. But the FM manager is very keen to have a collaborative relationship with the school.
You can play contract to the final full stop, and it's black and white. Yes, we'll do it, no, we won't. In my view, acting in the spirit of the contract is far better. If it says that Interserve will achieve X, Y, and Z by next Tuesday, then we'll achieve X, Y, and Z. If we don't achieve it, we'll be able to go back to the school and say, right, this is what we've done. to attempt to achieve what you wanted. In which case, it's time to sit down and say, well, hang on, you've done your best, it's not stopping any teaching, it's not stopping anything going on, so we can work within it. If, on the other hand, it is stopping teaching, then it becomes, both myself and Jill, we both agree, it then becomes purely contractual. If you cannot use a room, you cannot use a room.
Catering is also provided by the FM team. The servery provides a menu for all tastes, from fast food options to meat and 2-veg.
You've got roast chicken on the main counter, girls, you've got vegetarian on the next counter, or you've got hot deli specials on the bottom counter.
You can have either one of these with the jacket potato, or you can have the salad with it.
I'll just have pizza.
Have a little bit of something. Have a jacket potato with it. £1.70. It's big and posh. It's like a restaurant, basically, isn't it?
It's absolutely fantastic. We'll find out what the food is like after I've tasted it.
The industrial kitchen is run by Steve Evans, who used to cook for soldiers in Iraq.
Right, shall we go for 12 or 14?
14, I think it's come up quite nice, it's risen. Everything we're providing is healthy for the children, so in a way it's good because we know we're giving them all their nutrition. All our menus have been checked by nutritionalists before we actually produce them, so everything's been checked. We don't use any oil, nothing's fried, and no chips or anything like that, and no salt in any of the food whatsoever.
A cashless catering system involves pupils loading an electronic card with the price of a school dinner, and the system discreetly identifies those who get free school meals. The restaurant is shared by staff and students and is one of the most important social areas of the entire campus. Dining outdoors in the Forum is something Jill Eater values highly.
You know, you create a mental image of somewhere, don't you? And all the way through this, you've been thinking, what will it feel like when the children are here and they're sitting eating and they're sitting on all the walls we've designed? You know, and it's happening. And they love it, apparently. They really love it.
It's a sophisticated and versatile social space.
Have you got your passes? Yeah. So I can learn your names really quickly.
The Forum is designed to be at the heart of the HLC experience. In the shadow of the new primary school buildings, the cross-face curriculum is up and running.
Buenos días. Buenos días. ¿Qué significa? Buenos días. Hola. Buenos días. Hola. Buenos días. Good day, good morning. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Hola.
Hola.
Head of MFL, Jean-Noel Lest, is taking his first ever Spanish lesson with a primary class. 19 secondary teachers will spend some teaching time in the primary phase.
Muy bien. What am I saying? Muy bien.
The MFL team have been so positive about the cross-phase teaching. They're fantastic. And I had a meeting last term with Jean-Noel about resources. We've bought a lot of resources and it's going so far so good, really well. I'm really very pleased with how it's going.
No, they seem to cope really well, actually. And they pick it up much, much quicker to Year 7s and Year 8. Kids their age are going to pick up things really, really quickly and they'll just repeat whatever you say, so they'll mimic, very good mimics.
So, biscuit barrel boys, we're going to have 3 in the hundreds.
The new recruits to the primary phase are settling in. Mathematics is a curriculum area that will help determine whether the new school will deliver on the promise of raising achievement.
Well done. Can I jump another 10? Anything. What's the biggest number?
We've been under pressure since day one. I don't think any of us in any position in school, but particularly on the leadership team, are under any misunderstandings of what we are expected to deliver. And I want to deliver that. I want to run a good school. I want to have the levels of attainment rising and to be seen as a high-performing phase of this school. And I will get there. But you have to sometimes jump a few hurdles in the early stages.
Thursday morning, Lesson 3, Week 2. A music lesson for Year 8s in the Engineering Gallery. Students have all got their timetables, so no excuses for being late. The staff are loving their new surroundings.
Unbelievable. Everything we put in the plan has come off. Even look, there's almost a smile there off one of them, bless him. We couldn't ask for better. So with the excellent facilities, now we've got to work on producing the results.
For the head of secondary, the first 2 weeks at the HLC have provided some testing times, but Paul's phlegmatism enabled him to cope and cope well.
I've clocked a lot of hours in the last fortnight. I have to say that if the systems had been running as they should have been when we first arrived in the building, I would not have had to do that. But, you know, when the chips are down, you've got to put in those hours to make it right. And we're not quite there yet. We've resolved a lot of the systems problems that we had. And when Telford and Wrekin open another new school, as they may well do in the future, we have learned from our experience, and we'll be able to reflect that to the local authority and put procedures in place to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Jill's proved to herself that she can deliver a school for the future. But at the start of a new era, she knows she's had to prove to some of her staff that she can cut the mustard.
There was that issue, I know there was, because some of the staff have told me, is can she crack it with the kids? You know, can she lead this organisation? Yeah, she's talked to us a lot, but she's not been in a school. And I never had any doubt about that, because I'm arrogant. You know? And I walk around this building, smiling, being cheerful, talking to the students, engaging the students.
What lesson did you just come from? Maths. All right. Yeah. Who's your maths teacher? Mr. Livesey. You're right enough.
Providing a curriculum with a wide range of choice for students with a wide range of ability is something the HLC's leadership is very proud of.
I'm proud that we've managed to give Year 10 a flexibility of choice which reflects their needs, because their choice was quite constrained before. For example, we've opened up the expressive arts curriculum so that most students, if they wish to, can do a very expressive arts-based or expressive arts and PE-based curriculum. At the same time, they can do a very humanities-based curriculum. In other words, they have a very big degree of choice compared to most schools of our size. And we've still managed to maintain an entry-level type qualification for students for whom the full range of GCSEs is not appropriate. So I'm proud of that.
It's still early days at the HLC, but Jill has seen her vision realised, and she knows exactly what she has to do next.
What I have to be careful of is that people think, well, we've got here, we've got settled, we've achieved that, and that's a fantastic achievement, but it isn't about excellence. Now, I have a very clear view of where I want to be. You know, I want to be a high-performing school. I want the students to be successful both personally and academically. I want my staff to have fantastic professional development, and the drive has got to come from me and Paul and Erica to achieve that.